Waka. Welcome to week 33 roundup of the Premier League season. This week, some crazy games for Champions League spots, but we are going to start off with Brentford versus Brighton, with Brentford beating Brighton 4-2. Both teams aren't really playing for anything. Brentford was just way too good for Brighton on this day. Also, when it was 3-1 for Brighton, you had Xiao Pedro being an idiot off the ball, getting a red card for it after the VAR checked it. And Brighton did come back to 3-2 at that after that. And then late in the game, it was a 4-2 from Norgard to secure the 4-2 victory of Brentford over Brighton. Then we have the next game with Crystal Palace playing Bournemouth. It was a nil-nil draw, even though Crystal Palace did get a player sent off for double yellows. The second one was a bit light, but he did pull on a player that was going to start an attack off. And he got a second yellow, Chris Richards, right before halftime. But in the second half, Bournemouth couldn't really take advantage of that. And that's them kind of out of the European spots now, seeing as they have 49 points and the other teams did kind of get their points and build up a bit of a lead. Then you have Everton against Man City, with Man City beating Everton 2-0. Man City are getting back in form and at the right time because they do want to get that Champions League spot. They are now stood in fourth, which is great, but Nottingham Forest is the team that can go ahead of them. But for now, they are fourth. Nice 58 points, 1 point behind Newcastle, and a point above Chelsea. We have West Ham versus Southampton with a 1-1 draw. Neither teams really are playing for anything. Southampton is statistically relegated already, so there's nothing really they're playing for. West Ham, no, technically they could still go down, but not likely with Ipswich being on 21 points and West Ham being on 36 points. The likelihood of Ipswich getting the amount of points necessary to go above West Ham is crazy. It's very unlikely. So West Ham 1-1 draw against Southampton doesn't really change anything in their season. We have the Champions League clash here. Aston Villa versus Newcastle, with both teams going for their top 5 spots. It was Aston Villa who beat Newcastle 4-1. Newcastle being one of the most informed teams in the Premier League, especially after their Carabao Cup final win. But Aston Villa was just way too good for them. In the first minute, it was already 1-0 for Aston Villa. Newcastle did come back to 1-1 with a goal from Cher, but Aston Villa turned it on in the second half with Madsen, an own goal from Ollie Byrne, and a goal from Onana, making it 4-1 for Aston Villa against Newcastle, which means that Villa is in the 7th spot right now, but they are in touching distance of the top 5. Really exciting battle for top 5. Crazy games. Speaking of the top 5, we have Fulham against Chelsea. Fulham not being in that clash for the top 5, but Chelsea is definitely in the mix. Fulham taking a early lead in the 20th minute. Iwobi making it 1-0. Chelsea struggled, but in the 83rd minute, it was George who makes it 1-1. And then in minute 93, it's Neto who makes it 2-1. giving Chelsea the 3 points and keeping their Champions League hopes alive. Great result for Chelsea, but not a great performance from them. But hey, even with bad performances, if you get into the Champions League, the fans will probably be happy. We have Man United versus Wolves, with Wolves beating Man United 1-0. Great from Wolves. They are already safe from relegation, but they are in an okay form right now. Beating out Man United after their European quarterfinals against Lyon. Not great for Man United. Amorim keeps on struggling with this team, but at least they have the semifinals of the Europa League to look forward to. We have Leicester against Liverpool, with the game being very close the whole time. Liverpool was the better team with the better chances, but it was 0-0 for a very long time. But you just know Liverpool in this season is always going to score a goal at some point. Alexander Arnold scoring the 1-0 in the 76th minute. The man who we expect is going to Real Madrid in the summer. But the Liverpool fans for this game didn't really care when he scored that winner. 1-0 for them, one step closer to their official title, even though we all know they have it in the bag already. Great for Liverpool, making sure that they just keep on going as they should as champions. We have Ipswich against Arsenal, my Arsenal. After the amazing game at the Bernabeu, it's now time for Arsenal to play in the Premier League, where they have been drawing left, right, and center. But this time against Ipswich, they were way too good. In the first half, it was Trossard and Martinelli who scored goals. After some amazing attacks, it could have been way more goals than this already in that first half. But after the 2-0, it was Davis who saw red and got Saka on his Achilles. Stupid foul. The ref saw it, gave him a red card. VAR agreed with him. So it was Ipswich 2-0 down and the man down. Arsenal did try, but because Ipswich went into a low block, they had a lot more difficulties going through. Saka did have some chances that he should have scored, but eventually in the 69th minute, it was Trossard with another goal, making it 3-0. And at the end, it was Ethan Waneri who made it 4-0 after a deflected shot. Easy win for Arsenal. Unfortunate that Saka did have a slight knock after the kick on his Achilles, but he will probably survive. He can be rested even before we have to play Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League, with Arsenal not having a game at the weekend. But yeah, a great game for Arsenal. Great play. Leandro Trossard was amazing. We had Marino who played an amazing game. So yeah, great. Up next up is Crystal Palace, and then we have a week off to play Paris Saint-Germain. Last but not least, it's Tottenham versus Nottingham Forest on a Monday night football. And it's Nottingham Forest who keep their Champions League dreams alive by winning 2-1 against Tottenham. Obviously, I'm very happy Tottenham lost again. 18 losses and still 5 games to go. They still have to play Liverpool, so that's definitely going to be number 19. But Nottingham Forest doing a great job. They are still in the FA Cup. They're still in Champions League contention. Great season from them. Nobody expected this from them. So keep up the good work, Nottingham Forest. That was week 33 roundup. It's Liverpool in first, Arsenal second, Nottingham Forest back into third, Newcastle, Man City, Chelsea, and Aston Villa still in contention for those top 5 spots. We will see you next time. Week 34 roundup. Peace.